Just how smart is AI these days? Well, it depends on whom you ask. And when it comes to resilient flooring, AI may not be as smart as some people think. In this episode, we're going to dig into the topic with some floor covering experts to discuss an eye-opening experiment that tests major AI platforms on floor identification and maintenance recommendations. The results reveal just how dangerous educated guesses can become when dealing with flooring materials, coatings, chemistry, and maintenance procedures. And it's my pleasure to welcome three gentlemen to the program, Bill, Andy, and Steve. It's good to have you on today. Let's get some introductions on tape here. Talk about yourself, what you do, and Bill, let's go with you first.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jeff. My name is Bill Llewellyn. I'm with XL North. I'm the technical director for XL North, along with providing technical services and answering questions for the consumer. I also teach IICRC classes. I teach the RFMT, the SMT, and the CCMT.
I'm Andy Baylor. I'm with Tarkett, flooring manufacturer based out of France, but I'm located near Dalton, Georgia. My title is maintenance and care specialist. I typically work with our end users out in the field to train them the right ways and how to avoid the wrong ways of maintaining flooring so that it looks good for a really long time. That's what I do. But my job title is maintenance and care specialist, but they call me the janitor on a jet.
Do you get to go to France?
Not yet. Maybe one of these days.
What kind of job is that, Andy?
I know, seriously. I just want to visit a home office and see how they're maintaining the carpet at home office.
Everyone should go to the home office.
That's right.
Steve, I bet you go to the home office. Talk about yourself.
I'm in the home office right now. I actually work for Millicare. My role is franchise advisor, but I also fulfill the operational and technical support element for Millicare, not just in North America, but Canada and other countries worldwide. I previously was a business owner in the floor care industry, going back to starting out as a technician. And then just like these guys here, I participate in as much IICRC training as I can. Currently on the TAC committees for the RFMT and CCMT, and currently participating in a couple of the standards committees as well.
Thank you, Steve. And I know collectively there's lots of experience here, and AI is new but not new, and that's our conversation today. So, Bill, you're up first. I'd like you to answer this question, and then we'll get to the other gentleman as well. But I believe you were instrumental in thinking up today's topic. Why is this important? What was your inspiration?
Well, we've really seen, I would say in the recent past, let's call it in the 5-6 years, we've seen an incredible uptick in conversations. Customers are calling us. Random people have found myself and others like Andy and Steve with questions about flooring. And the situation is typically this. They look something up online. They believe that they might have this type of flooring or that type of flooring. They snap a picture. AI says, "Oh, it's terrazzo," or "Oh, it's this." And what happens is that they go through the process that the recommended process that AI might share, and they don't get the results they want, or they sometimes damage it. So, this is something that we're really experiencing in the industry, and that's that generational knowledge. It's leaving us. And, go ask Tom, and he'll tell you what that flooring is and how to maintain it. He's gone. And so now we're left with a really big void. And the generation that's coming into floor care, they're tech savvy. And so instead of asking somebody else or doing the research, they quickly go to, a search engine, Google or whatever, and they assume a lot. All of this has kind of come to the forefront.
Makes sense. Andy, anything to add to that?
Agreed. The thing that I've seen a sharp uptick in specifically in the last 6 to 8 months is folks doing their own research, being the internet doctor for whatever their situation may be, not coming to manufacturers, not looking, trying to figure out, okay, Tarkett manufactured this floor, maybe I should reach out to Tarkett, but they go to AI and they ask the questions. And so some examples of those things that I've seen is we've got folks using window cleaner to try to get carpet stains out, hardwood floor cleaner and polish to clean resilient materials with, and then heavy duty degreaser to clean rubber flooring with. And each one of those poses its own unique problems, but the other part of it is that in each one of those cases, it was a specific brand that was recommended by the AI. That leads me to believe that maybe there's not brand neutrality in the AI. There's probably somewhere somebody is paying for product placement into the AI suggestions, whether it's the right chemistry or not, right? And so from my perspective, it is very important that if you're working on a floor and you don't know who manufactured it, at least you should be able to reach out to somebody who knows something more about flooring than what an AI might have to offer, because it's working off of incomplete data, right? It doesn't know everything. It feels like it knows everything. And so it's just going to give you the best logical answer based on what it does know. But when you get folks like us in a room and let us go, we'll talk all day long and we'll give you the right answers.
AI is very confident, not always right, and it has to get its information from somewhere. So someone out there is using Windex on carpet, I suppose.
Yeah.
Are those products that you mentioned, Andy, those different scenarios, are they approved by IICRC?
They are not approved by the IICRC, nor are they approved by the Carpet and Rug Institute. The one gentleman that called me and said he was using window cleaner, he said I had asked the AI about it. It told me to use Windex, specific brand name, but he said then it made sense because he had seen a movie at one point in time where there was a dad, I think it was My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the dad in that show, didn't matter what the problem was, he was going to solve it with Windex. So, he needs to clean the table. He cleans the table with Windex. Somebody's got a cut on their arm and they need to clean it up real quick. They're going to spray some Windex on it and rub it in. So he was like, it just made sense because I had seen, in pop culture, the use of Windex for so many different things. So I felt like asking, and I couldn't do this. I felt like asking, is it made of glass? Is your carpet made of glass? Of course it's not. Why would you use glass cleaner on it? But nonetheless, that's what he resorted to.
That was a good movie too.
I haven't seen it myself. Now,
you gotta watch it.
Based on his recommendation, I might watch it.
It's a fun one, that's for sure. Yeah. Steve, we don't want me to ignore you. Anything to add to this question?
I agree with what my friends have said here on this call so far, of course, but I just would add, we seem to now skip tried and true methods for help and assistance, are doing that more and more. And then when I do talk to people that maybe have gotten a bad answer, been led astray or whatever, I find that there's been no consultation into the sources that were used.
Mm-hmm. Sticking with you, Steve, talk about why modern resilient flooring is so difficult even for AI to properly identify. Can you get into that?
Absolutely. There's probably three major reasons. Number one, most resilient flooring that's currently popular typically mimics hard surface flooring. You can show even a crowd of experienced technicians and business owners pictures of sheet vinyl that looks like marble flooring or marble tile, things of that nature. So that mimicking aspect makes it difficult in the field, let alone using pixels on a screen. Secondly, the mimicking aspect extends to rubber tile looking like vinyl tile. So there you have, still in a resilient category, but you have two products that require different processes, different materials, different chemicals, and the mistake has been made within the resilient category itself. And then I'd say the third problem is, even if you have some information, if you're using words like resilient quartz tile or hybrid terrazzo resilient or resilient terrazzo, things like that, you're actually then maybe getting led down an even worse path for advice on how to take care of a problem.
Thank you, Steve. And Andy, anything to add?
I just anecdotally recently had a conversation with somebody that was taking care of a resilient material that had terrazzo in the title, and again, because of that, they input, how do I maintain this terrazzo floor? And so they then went about finding the right diamond pads to grind and hone and polish that resilient terrazzo. Right, just because it had a terrazzo look and it had terrazzo in the name, that ended up obviously resulting in a lot of damage to that material. And you can't go back from that, unfortunately.
For the record, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Bill, anything to add to this one as well?
Boy, Steve hit the nail right on the head. Words matter, and our collective knowledge group, if you will, or our peer group, we're constantly trying to reiterate to anybody that will listen to us that a material is a material. These manufacturers, like Andy with Tarkett and all the others, they manufacture to ASTM standards, and so they have to meet a criteria. And when we go off the rail and call it something else or something like, what we're doing is that we're doing that material a real disservice from the designer and architectural specifications all the way through the process. And that's where a lot of that confusion lies, is just the naming convention or the marketing of these materials. People don't understand what they have in their hands.
Thank you, Bill. Andy, I think you've shared now 2 examples of where AI has failed. Do you have any others? Because I want to get a couple of those, more of those on record.
Oh gosh. We have had instances where we've sold flooring, and let's say the general contractor or the flooring contractor gets the maintenance instructions into the hands of the end user, right? So we've got a custodian, he's got the instructions on the right way to clean it. But then that custodian, instead of reaching back out to us for a translation into a different language, puts that maintenance instruction into an AI translator, and it doesn't quite match what we say in English going into Spanish, or in one case Russian. Here recently, they took our English version of it, put it into an AI, and his technician came back to him and said, "Sorry, boss, this does not make any sense to me. What do you want me to do here? Because I don't understand the Russian version. Maybe I would be better off reading the English version." But so what we offer from a manufacturing perspective is that any of our customers that come to us and say, "Hey, we need a translation into a different language," we'll do that. We've got a service that's been a vetted service. It's not an AI translator. We don't just scan it and put it in and see what comes out on the other side. This is actually native language speakers that are doing the translations for us. And then, we have all that vetted through folks in our organization from a legal perspective too. So let's say something gets translated incorrectly from English into Spanish or whatever other language. They could be potentially damaging the floor, maybe doing something dangerous. We don't want any of that to happen. So rely on well-vetted translation services, or when you can, get the information directly from the manufacturer to be able to get that information to the technicians that are doing the work.
Thank you, Andy. And Bill, how about you? Anything specific you can think of?
Well, recently was one that it was a hard surface. It was a natural stone. it depicted one type of material, but actually it was a calcite-based material, and using an acid certainly caused some damage when the contractor was trying to remove some soap scum and some effervescence. So those things, and Andy really brought up a good point, and I think Steve and I have talked a number of times. There is nothing, there's no responsibility taken by AI. If the three of us, or the four of us, you included, if one of us makes a recommendation on a situation, we're owning that response. There's nobody to back up, one of the AI software programs. It's like, yeah, well, you did it, and there's a problem now. Better luck next time.
Yeah. It, kind of on that subject, I think it's confirmation bias. If you walk into I guess a casino, you got $20 and you gamble for a little bit, and all of a sudden you got $200. Well, I'm just going to keep gambling because I'm having a good day, right? You think about the positive things. You don't necessarily think about the negative things. You may gamble with AI a few times and get it right, and think, well, this is just foolproof, and just keep going on down the road. There should definitely be checks and balances in place when it comes to things like, confirming that you're getting the right answer from the AI. There needs to be a human element. There needs to be stopgap measures to prevent, potential catastrophe in some cases.
No, good discussion. When your AI says something, identifies something very confidently, back it up with a person like the three of you to verify. Nothing AI is going to be used. People are going to use it. There's no stopping it. But you need to balance and have those checks in place. Before we go into our next questions, Steve, did you have one to share as well?
Yes, I do. I think one of the ideas that we have to look at too is what are you inputting, right? Can be a little bit of a garbage in, garbage out situation, but sometimes maybe the AI isn't fully to blame. It's what we've typed into that prompt. So for instance, if I ask, and this is a real scenario too, hey, should I polish this floor? Okay. Well, we don't know what the translation to speak to Andy's terms was for that word polish, because it could mean applying an acrylic floor finish to a floor, or it could be the mechanical action of making a floor shiny. And when you have the misidentification of the visual, and then you have word problems like polish, now you're creating a really nasty brew of problematic situations.
I agree with that completely. Polish is an excellent example of that, a word that can mean multiple different things. Something that I encounter a lot, and I know you guys probably do too, is a 175 RPM single disc rotary floor machine. I've all my life called that a 175. And if I go essentially anywhere other than around here and I say 175, I get blank looks on people's faces. So to them, it's a swing machine. To somebody else, it's a side by side, and so on and so forth. Does AI really understand that all of those different terms might mean one specific thing? And I doubt it at this point in time, right? Not yet. Maybe better.
Bill, do you think AI still has a place in the flooring and maintenance industry as a support tool, even if it can't replace hands-on expertise?
I think that it and I forget who mentioned it. It's gathering as much information as it readily pull from the internet. And, it could be pulling from, the XL North website, or the Tarkett website, or the Millicare website, and all these websites, and weighing it, what's the balance? I do believe that AI has some useful tools to it. I personally use it to check when I write an article. all my grammar, all my sentence structure. I will sometimes ask it to take my words that I've written and formulate it into a better paragraph. When it comes to floor care, it can spit out what I find is decent protocols. But what it can't do, and this is the most important thing, it can't touch the floor. It can't physically see the floor. It has no sense of smell. And most importantly, and this is something that it doesn't have any curiosity. It is a very black and white, my two mentors in this industry, and most of the listeners or viewers will probably, Stan Hewlin and Bob DeWeese. They both, in different times, have told me to advance in this industry, to really build a craft, you have to be curious. You have to educate yourself, but also more, why is something happening? And AI doesn't do that.
No, it does not. Thank you for that. And Steve, anything to add there?
Yes, sir. I actually used AI to help create a presentation on being cautious and using AI. So it was very helpful to me in doing that. I think it's a tool that we need to learn to use better. And I hope that conversations like this maybe spark that interest in more people so that we collectively within the industry can at someday say, hey, here's a great way to use an amazing tool that we've barely scratched the surface on, most likely, right? So I'm in favor of that. I don't want anyone to think that I'm standing here going, don't ever type anything in and use a prompt to help you. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, for now, we need to keep the human element there, and we need to be wise in how we use this tool. But I think it's going to take the entire industry and like, my friends on this call, and you too, Jeff, to go in and research and put questions in and figure out where these answers are coming from and whatnot. And then the other thing I would like to add is, the way these models are progressing, when I talk to some friends in the industry that have really helped educate me on all this, what I type in and ask right now, I could get a different answer 3 hours from now in the same model, right? So we're even having trouble replicating the same answers, the same information we got just hours ago, as things change that fast. And then also what's new that we probably don't understand as well now either is the hallucination factor that is actually becoming more and more apparent in using the technology. So we just need to get better with it, not get rid of it.
Makes sense. Andy, I want to go to you on this one. We just have a couple more questions, and I want to talk about the younger generation coming in. Any concerns from your perspective about these younger technicians? Instead of maybe using their training, they're pulling out their phones and they're asking questions of AI, or facility managers in commercial buildings, just depending way too much on AI. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think they're the way. So I've got two sons that are 20 years old. They'll be 21 here in a few months, and so they've grown up pretty much having a device with them all the time. And for some people, it is a security blanket, right? They may retreat to that device for the answer that they're looking for, but also, again, some confirmation bias, maybe the answer that they want and not necessarily the right answer. So again, the younger folks are probably going to be more prone to believe just at first glance and take everything that they're reading as possibly as gospel truth, because that's kind of how they've learned things over the years. Again, there's a lot of influence on human decision making that AI is having everywhere from social things to political things and so on and so forth. My firm belief is that take that, but blend that with institutional knowledge, right? The folks that are on this call right now, the Tom, the guy that may be getting ready to retire here in a few weeks, pin him down for a lunch sometime and say, Tom, how do you do X, Y, and Z? Find out those things. And somewhere in the middle of all of that is going to be the truth, right? There's three sides to every story. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. And somewhere in the middle of all of that is going to be some accurate information. And hopefully they learn, the younger folks that are getting into this industry, hopefully they're going to learn that, yeah, I can't always necessarily trust what I read on my phone when it comes to, finding the right answer for what pH cleaning solution I should use on rubber versus marble.
I have a couple more thoughts here. Steve, I want to talk to you about this one. Companies investing heavily in AI tools. AI tools and tech may be cheaper than people, but there needs to be a balance there. Talk about that, striking that balance between all these tools we could use that are AI driven and the real technician. How do they do that?
Well, one, I would say don't stop your current training program. Don't stop getting ISERC certifications. Don't stop learning and expect the AI right now to be a substitute for what you're currently doing that's successful. That would be number one. Number two, I would say invest in newer, latest versions. Again, I saw some difference in a few searches in a free version versus a paid subscription. So I would say go to the latest and greatest. And if you're going to invest some money, make sure that you are doing that. And my recommendation is that if you're requiring your technicians to make decisions out in the field, if they've just got the basic version of one of these on their phone, why aren't you letting them use the version that you're paying for? Move that out so that the company can benefit from that, because it doesn't do you any good to have a paid, more recent version, and yet your technicians are left to use the free one that they're using on their phone. So that would be two considerations I would give right now to investing in this.
Yeah, I do know that if you have a paid business version of an AI tool, you can train it and it won't start over every time you ask it, is this nylon? Or whatever question you might be asking.
And you can combine your input as a company.
Right.
And learn from that.
Yeah,
so
train it.
So when you ask it if something's nylon, has it done the burn test to determine that? Can the AI do a burn test?
So that's coming.
Is it? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's coming. It has to be. AI 2 point something.
Yeah, no kidding.
Bill, let's wrap it up. Talk about your advice for contractors, facility managers, before they trust AI too much. Save them some angst.
It starts with like what Steve shared. It starts with training, and I'm not saying this because I'm an IICRC instructor. I'm saying this because we all here on this call have got a lot of scar tissue, and you need to be able to trust but verify. And the only real way you can trust the information that you're receiving from AI is have some verification behind that. And that's your training. That's your practice. Doctors, they have a practice. Lawyers have a practice. We're professional floor care providers. And we really should be practicing our craft, on a daily basis. So going into it knowing here's a tool in the toolbox, it's AI. I can arm my technicians with this, but before you make the leap, understand, the verbiage that you're using, the image that you're showing, are correct. In each one of my resilient floor classes, I put up an image, and I say, after this class, you'll be able to hopefully in the field identify a homogeneous vinyl, a heterogeneous vinyl, a homogeneous rubber, a homogeneous sheet rubber with a coating on it, and a quartz tile that all have this basically the same pattern. and they look very similar. You have to have more than just an image to figure that out. You have to have a little scar tissue, a little basic knowledge.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, gentlemen, thank you for this. Let's see what we can do to help people not make the AI mistake that you've been seeing happening.